I'm starting over in my 30s, but I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it with the Lord, and I'm bringing you along with me. Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Melody and I make faith-based content here on YouTube. If you're wanting to grow in your relationship with God or understand his word more deeply, you are in the right place. So definitely be sure to subscribe. I would love to have you join the family. As you can tell by the title, I'm starting over in my 30s, but I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it with the Lord, and I'm bringing you along with me. So in episode 1, I kind of just kicked off this series. I'll go ahead and link that above here, and I just want to pause quickly and just say thank you for all the love, the well wishes, and the prayers that are just coming from that video and your guys' support. It truly means the world to me. And in episode 2, I want to share just a little word that God has really been teaching me through, a specific Bible verse, and kind of like what I've been able to pull from it. Because I think when we are navigating seasons like this where we are starting over, because I know I'm not the only one starting over, and I'm starting over in my 30s. You might be starting over in your 40s, your 50s. You might be starting over in your 20s. You might be starting over at 18. It is never too late to start over, and there are so many people in the Bible who have stories that have started over, because God is a redeeming God. God is a restoring God. And there are promises from God for seasons such as this, and we have the benefit of holding on to them if only we know what they are. So in this video, episode 2 of the series, I'm going to be sharing with you the promise that I've been holding on to for dear life, okay? The promise that has truly been sustaining me, the Bible verse it stems from, and how you too can start picking up this promise and walking confidently in this truth, because it truly changes internally things for you. This isn't guaranteed to change your outward circumstances or to change what you are currently looking at, but it gives you a new perspective to see God in it. And that truly changes everything. So let's go ahead and hop into it. But first, I want to pause here and thank the sponsor of this series and the sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money. So Rocket Money is a personal finance app, and I personally love it because they take this thing that can feel very overwhelming, at least for myself, and very daunting: budgeting, tracking your finances, categorizing things, setting spending limits, and they make it so simple. They also have this feature that I love where they keep track of your reoccurring subscription. So you can actually see, what am I paying for every month that I might have subscribed to but I forgot about? Where can I go and trim some fat? You know what I mean? Cut some things out. And on this journey where I am now in a brand new space, we have sold the house, and I really am stepping up to the plate financially and taking ownership of things and learning to dive into all the details that overwhelm me. Having Rocket Money on this journey has just made all the difference. So one thing in particular that I have really been loving this month, as I am now in my new space, is setting up a very detailed budget. The expenses and things can definitely add up, especially when you're moving into a home. You're like, okay, I need this and I need that, and it would be nice to have this. But really keeping track of all of the transactions, because Rocket Money has all of your accounts in one place. So no longer do you have to go over here, look at this, and put it together. It does all of that for you. So I definitely encourage you guys to check it out, especially if you're like me and you just kind of feel overwhelmed when it comes to money in general. You will love this app. Now, the app is completely free to download. However, you can get a premium free trial when you sign up with my link. I'll have that up above here as well as down in the description box. And so thank you so much to Rocket Money for partnering with me on this portion of today's video. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the word. So the verse that we are going to be unpacking today, and the verse that our promise stems from, is the book of Psalm, chapter 84, verse 11. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it up on the screen, and we are going to read it together. The verse says, "The Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord grants favor and honor. He does not withhold the good from those who live with integrity." There's a lot to unpack in these 4 lines of this one single verse, but I want to start with the promise that I've been able to pull out, and then we'll deep dive into how I kind of got there. So the promise that I've been holding on to for dear life is that I can let go of what I cannot control. And I don't know about you, but as someone who prefers to be in control, and that's something that throughout the entirety of my walk with the Lord, I've been learning that I need to surrender because I'm actually not in control. Seeing and memorizing and really writing a verse like this and holding on to a promise that I can let go of things that I can't control because the sovereign God is in control. This has been just game changing. This has been alleviating. This has been stress reducing. This has been creating less anxiety in my heart. And that's not to say, like I talked about at the beginning of the video, that my circumstances look different, but how I am seeing the Lord in the circumstances, how I am recognizing his provision and his kindness and his presence in the circumstance, that is what's changing. And by seeing the Lord more clearly and what I'm walking through, it helps me walk more confidently. And I know if it's helping me, that it also can help you. So let's go ahead and start at the top. The Lord God is a sun and a shield. I wanted to better understand what it meant that God is both our sun and our shield. Nowhere else in the Bible, and I did a little research on this, does it say that God is a sun, S-U-N. And so what does that imply? The sun brings light. The sun brings warmth. A shield is protection. But what's beautiful is that God is both. He is both someone who is illuminating the dark, revealing things, and he also is a shield, a protection, a safe haven. And because we're talking about the Most High God, when we say he is our shield, this doesn't just mean that he's protecting us physically. He is protecting our souls. He is preserving our integrity. He is increasing our discernment. He is keeping our judgment intact. The psalmist, specifically using these two words to describe God, shows us that God adapts himself to what we need in any given circumstance. When we're in darkness, he is the sun. When we are being persecuted, he is our protection. And he wouldn't know what we specifically need in any given moment if he wasn't right there with us in that moment. So when we realize that we're walking with a God who's actively engaged in our circumstances, who is actually right there in the middle of it with us, who understands each and everything we need in a moment, and who is able to provide it, it gives us confidence to continue walking. It gives us confidence that we can let go, that we get to let go. What a privilege it is to let go of our fake control. So let's go ahead and jump into the next line. The Lord grants favor and honor. If you look at a different version of the Bible, these words might be replaced with grace and glory. But either way, it shows that God gives us things that the world could never and that we cannot give to ourselves. Favor is not something that we can produce for ourselves. Favor is something that is outside of us. This is God extending his personal regard to us. And oftentimes favor comes through man, but it first starts with God. And then when we talk about honor, again, this is not something that we can give to ourselves. This has to come ultimately from God. The world might offer us honor, reputation, or prestige, but true honor, true glory only comes from God. And so here we can see that God gives what the world could never: genuine divine approval and authentic worth. And these are things that we have right now. Regardless of what we're walking through, these are things that the Lord grants to his children. And so with that in mind, it again points us in that direction of I can let go. I can let this thing go because I am ultimately not in control. And now let's talk about the last two lines of this verse. That is my personal favorite part of this verse, and that is that he does not withhold the good from those who live with integrity. And so this part of the verse really redirects our energy. We're no longer trying to control all of the pieces of our life. We're simply focusing on the one thing that we can control. Well, one of the few things that we can control: how we live, how we choose to react in a circumstance, the posture of our heart, our willingness to do what God is calling us to do, our level of obedience, the quickness with which we respond to the promptings that God places on our heart. These are all the things that we can control. And at the end of the day, these are genuinely some of the only things that we can control. When we live with integrity, when we are pursuing the things of God, when we are pouring out our hearts to him, when we are turning away from evil, when we are mindful of our words, when we are desirous of reflecting Christ in this world, we're living with integrity. We desire to live with integrity. Of course, we're not going to do it correctly. And when we do that, we are in alignment to receive the good. It is not that we do the thing that is good and live with integrity and then God rewards us with the good. It's simply that we get in alignment to receive it. And I personally think that that is so powerful, but also so liberating, because it is inviting us to reframe what our attention is on. We can get very focused on wanting to control outcomes. We can get very focused on wanting this to happen and this not to happen. You know, insert whatever circumstance. But what we actually should focus on is living with integrity. What we actually should focus on is the Lord Lord. And when we do, we're in alignment to receive the good that he has for us. So this is their invitation to hold on to this promise and to truly write this verse on your heart. I personally have memorized this by writing it over and over again. And it's something that I will just meditate on as I'm doing dishes, as I'm unpacking boxes, as I am worried or stressed about the future. I just go back to this verse and I'm reminded that I can let go, that the sovereign Lord is in control and that he will not withhold the good from those who live with integrity. Meaning, if I keep my eyes focused on the only things I can control, he will control the outcome, and the outcome will be good as defined by him. And in that, I can relax. All right, sis, that is going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And thank you once again to the sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money. I'm going to have that link in the description box for you to get signed up for a premium free trial with my link, rocketmoney.com/melody. And so now, of course, it is your turn. What is one promise from the Lord that you hold on to for dear life? As you guys know, in this video, I'm sharing the one that I'm holding on to for dear life in this season, but I would love to know the one that really has sustained you either in past seasons or the current season that you're walking through. So definitely be sure to drop that in the comments and then take a scroll on through. As always, I love you guys and I will catch you in my next video. Peace.